Connected the rod, but I didn't tighten this up yet because I want to show you a couple of things about putting this trigger back on. When you're putting the trigger back on, you got to make sure you get the right side, or I should say the correct side. The part where the trigger actually goes to has a little plastic pin that the trigger goes on to. And there were some things that I just didn't even notice the first time I tried this, because once it came apart, it just came apart. But I'm going to try to show you all these things with one hand the best I can. The trigger actually goes this way. You see, the trigger has a gap in here for the wire to go through, and it's also wide enough to hold a portion of the cable. So I want y'all to see that. Alright, so you line it up, and then if you're familiar with repairing bicycle brakes, this is the same type of thing. I hope y'all don't get too dizzy watching this video. You line it up. You see a little nick in there where the rounded edge of the brake line of the cable slides inside, and it comes out that little niche there. Come on. There you go. That goes in there like that. Okay. And I flip it over. I'm holding a little tension on it so that it doesn't just drop right out. And the opposite end goes into that little pin or peg that comes out of the handle. The other handle doesn't have that, but it has a hole to receive this peg. Okay. Here's the key thing about reinstalling this throttle trigger. The cable. It may sound kind of weird, but it's true. The key thing is the placement of the cable, and that's what this niche inside the handle is for, to lay the cable. And the cable has to be in that position. And when you're squeezing the two together, okay. Oh, one more note about this trigger. It has a little notch on the bottom of it, which has to you have to make sure that little notch there has to be on the inside of the trigger, not on the outside, otherwise it won't go. Right there is just holding itself in place. Now here you have the cable cover, and that drops into this little area here. I hope y'all can see this. It drops right into that little spot where the cable goes, and the cable comes around here. Yes, I need two hands to do this, but you can see the curvature of the cable, how it's always been in that place. It goes between the outside of the casing and the inside of where the screw receiver comes from, the female portion of where the screw goes in. The cable goes right in between there and comes out under this little notch here. And that notch is key because that's also going to go right up in between here. You have that notch on both sides of the handle. So when the handle comes together, it meets right there, and it has to go in this groove. You can't just put it on there just any kind of way. It has to go in there. So when you have it on the bar, it goes on like this, and everything's got to be in place. Hold the wire in between there. This is not a one-handed job. I'm not even going to try to do this with one hand. But and you see where the notch is? That's also making space for the cable to come through there and out of the base. Okay, you see how it just holds up in there? Okay, Another thing about this screw is it's